do a lot of organizing the regatta and stuff like that. Once it's going well and I see everybody having a good time, it doesn't matter who wins. I just want to make sure everybody have a good time. And I'm looking forward to us having a regatta before the end of this year. I am dying for a regatta.
I'd like to thank James Wallace, Delworth Gibson, Clyde Roll, Keith Brown. I miss you guys, you know. I miss you guys. I really miss you.
We really miss you guys, too.
Thank you for joining us here on the Sailing Story.
Like Fisher say, thank you so much for joining us on tonight's show. And I may not know the left or the right side of the boat, but I know this man, he will be jamming. I mean, Funky D, he is in studio with us, and we're gonna toss it to the man in the glitter.
Come on now. Woo! Watch this now. Get up Saturday morning, round 10 o'clock. Heading with my homeboys down to the dock. Get some stew fish, potato bread, and Johnny Cake. Head down to Regatta to hear some breakers skip. When the music starts, I can't stay still. People laugh at me. They think I ill. I don't care what they say, don't care what they do. They don't feel the music down in their shoe. I can't stop, I can't stop. When the music hit me, I feel like dancing. If you like dancing the way I like dancing, come along and dance with me. Come on, watch it out, hey! Woo! Yes, man! Listen, when the music hit me, I jump around. People try to hold me down to the ground. I struggle and I fight, I get away. When I feel like dancing, I don't play. I know how to shake, I don't have to worry. Don't care how drunk I get, I dance on time. When them drums are smiling, I feel the groove. That's when I grab my partner, I make my move. I can't stop, I can't stop. When the music hit me, I feel like dancing. If you like dancing, come on, y'all. Come along and dance with me. Come on now, let's go. Come on. Yes, man. Listen, man. I can't stop. I can't stop. When the music hit me, I feel like dancing. If you like dancing, like I like dancing, come along and dance. You ready? Come on.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Bahamas, I'm Shoshana Roll-Farkas, and as always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, owners of high-rise buildings on Grand Bahama admonished to put in place preventative maintenance programs to avoid tragedy. Officials at the Grand Bahama Port Authority making this appeal following the deadly collapse of a condominium complex in Miami last month. Ramiko Knowles has our top story.
As the death toll continues to rise following that fatal collapse of the Champlain Towers south in Surfside, Miami, prayers are being lifted for the families of those losing loved ones. Here at home, officials at the Grand Bahama Port Authority say while it is out of their jurisdiction, they are focused on measures they are taking to prevent such a tragedy locally.
At this time, would want to share a few thoughts as it relates to high-rise buildings.
And by code, especially those that are classified as any buildings greater than or at the level of 75 feet above natural grade.
Chief Building Manager Dudley Francis says the well-being of all residents is of utmost importance to the GBPA. He says once property owners maintain their buildings in accordance with the code, residents can reside in high-rise buildings in a safe and comfortable manner.
And by that, I mean property owners can make sure that in conjunction with our annual assessments, implement these preventative maintenance programs, which would include doing a structural assessment, and that would be undertaken by a licensed structural engineer who would pay attention to the different structural components of the building to make sure that they are not near unsafe conditions.
In addition, he says attention must also be given to the exit facilities.
Things like the stairways, corridors, and exit doors, as well as all the other necessary services with the building, such as the electrical system, the illumination, fire protection system, plumbing system, and of course ventilation, in addition to performing assessments on any major piece of equipment within that building.
Now, to ensure that property owners are performing maintenance work on their buildings, he says the Building and Development Department has an ongoing practice of performing random high-rise building assessments.
Annually, we would reach out to these various property owners to perform our assessments, and as we find any issues related to them, we would bring it to their attention again to meet code compliance. And I would also like to take this opportunity to say that in terms of addressing some of these concerns, one of the things that we have been doing is that we would have put forward certain acts that we need to make adjustments with as far as the Freeport bylaws is concerned to better enforce and address some of these concerns that the public would have.
Francis maintains that the port is also actively engaging in contractors' workshops for those in the construction field where they address safety issues. Ramiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
Well, the fight against COVID-19 continues across the country. Tonight, the head of the COVID-19 task force is giving a progress report on the islands, and the key is to help protect against the newly formed variant. Italia Hall reports.
Head of Grand Bahama's COVID-19 task force, Dr. Frank Bartlett, says Grand Bahama is doing well as it relates to COVID-19 cases. He says hospitalizations are low and persons who have tested positive for the virus are not as ill as others were at the beginning of the year. He says a few weeks ago, Grand Bahama saw a slight spike in COVID cases, and that was attributed to the fact that a few persons tested positive on a ship.
Those persons were not allowed to leave the vessel, so as far as saying impacting our numbers or their positivity impacting our community, they weren't allowed to leave that ship. We have seen a few clusters, small groups, but all in all, our numbers are looking pretty good.
Now the new Delta variant remains a concern for many.
We're sending samples to an international laboratory for testing. What we do know is we do have variants in our population. We suspect that it may be the Delta variant, but we have no clear-cut identification as it relates to that part of it. So the assumption is, in what you want to be thinking about, or the mindset should be, that the Delta variant is here.
He says with COVID-19 cases, global data shows that the general trend is downward. But among the unvaccinated area, even in the United States, the numbers are going up.
When you look at the data in the different countries, a lot of the cases, as much as 80 to 90% of them, are due to the Delta virus. So things you want to understand about the Delta virus, it is about 40 to 60% more transmissible. We still have data, or we're looking at analyzing the data as it relates to the amount of death or mortality that it causes. We know in some of the regions of the world that it is responsible for an increase in hospitalization, But again, we're still learning more about the Delta virus.
In the latest vaccine tracker report, over 95,000 doses of the vaccine have been administered throughout the country. Dr. Bartlett telling Bahamians to get vaccinated as the vaccine can help to protect against a new Delta variant. Now, recently it was reported that a small percentage of people who received one dose of the vaccine caught COVID-19 and later died. Dr. Bartlett confirming that none of those deaths occurred in Grand Bahama. There has also been some concern surrounding the amount of vaccines left in the country. He says as it stands right now, the health team is waiting on a new batch.
Challenge we have now is we don't have any firm data on that. So the vaccines that we have now, over the next week to two, you'll be hearing information as to what the plan is as far as saying the utilization of the vaccines that we have. But the consultative committee and all of the agencies that are responsible for acquisition of the vaccines, they're working diligently without the jurisdictions to try to see if we can get those vaccines in a timely fashion.
He says Bahamians must not let their guards down and must continue to follow all of the health protocols so that the country can remain in a good position in the fight against the deadly COVID-19 virus. Italia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Meantime, a cruise scheduled for Biminites to travel to Florida to take the Johnson & Johnson one-jab COVID vaccine being organized for tomorrow. This comes as the third wave has resulted in a spike in cases on that northern island, in addition to tighter restrictions. A former resident and advocate of that island has been called on to assist with coordinating the trip. With a recent spike in COVID-19 cases on the island and with a limited COVID-19 vaccine supply in the country, stakeholders in the Bimini community have come together to organize a free trip for residents to travel to Florida to take the Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
I'm a Biminite, and I was contacted in reference to assisting in getting Biminites ready for our venture. And that venture is the opportunity to be taken into the United States to receive the Johnson & Johnson vaccine and to return within a matter of hours.
Former Bimini resident and advocate Dr. Pamela Mills is involved with the coordinated efforts, and she along with the team have been charged with getting residents to sign up to take the one-dose vaccine in Florida.
The response has been very good. People are signing up. And one of the things, too, that's going on, the visa has been waived because it's going to be a controlled environment. So people are additionally signing up. Yes, it's been very receptive, well received, and the numbers are climbing as we speak.
Bimini residents who have signed up will travel to South Florida on board the Valeria for free at 11 a.m. on Wednesday. The only requirement is a valid ID. Mills says she is hopeful that as much Biminites as possible take advantage of this offer.
We're collecting names, we're signing people up, and we're ready to make this happen. It's a way of dealing with the COVID situation that's in Bimini, and I think it's a splendid idea that the partnering with, I guess, the resorts and the cruise ship and whomever else, and the health team out of Nassau putting this venture together to make sure things go right for the island of Bimini.
As a result of the recent spike in COVID-19 cases, Bimini has been placed on a 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew, along with social gathering restrictions to mitigate the spread of the virus. But Mills makes it clear that this trip is only a quick turnaround for the vaccine, and then it's back to Bimini.
If you're interested in Walmart and BJ's and Costco's and all, you won't be able to do that on this trip. This is a straight up, get the task done, and return to Bimini. Nothing more, nothing less. There is no room for anything else.
Switching gears now, the countdown is on to the country's 48th anniversary of independence. The theme this year is a celebration of life, revive us again. Well, the West Grand Bahama District and West Grand Bahama Independence Committee hosting a press conference in that community this morning to update the public on a flag raising ceremony that is set to take place Friday morning. Natalia Hall was there.
The flag-raising ceremony in West Grand Bahama will be held outside of the Administrator's Complex in 8 Mile Rock on Friday morning. Administrator Gilbert Kemp reflecting on the day that the country first achieved its independence.
I'm old enough to state, I don't know if anybody else on the panel is, I was there on July 10th, 1973. I might have been about 2 years old, but I was there. I saw people with expressions of joy when the Union Jack was coming down. And when you saw the Bahamian flag going up, people around me were just weeping and crying. I wasn't sure what it was all about, but it made an impression on me.
He says the older generation must do their part to educate young people on the importance of independence.
And many of us, and I'm sure most of us who've been off to college, when you're in some country or some city in America, you have your Bahamian flag all on your door, all the pictures and everything, because we're proud of who we are. But it can't be we're proud when we're outside of the country. We have to be proud of our heritage, of our culture, of our country, you know, as Bahamians. And so it's important for us, as the older generation, like anybody over 40 I'm talking about, to impress on the younger people, the millennials, that is important for you, for us. We didn't just get here by accident. It was because of blood, sweat, and tears. And we must pass this on.
Now the Member of Parliament for Central Grand Bahama, the Honorable Iram Lewis, the Member of Parliament for West Grand Bahama and Bimini, the Honorable Pakeisha Parker Edgecombe, as well as the Mayor of North Miami and other United States councilors are expected to be in attendance at the flag-raising ceremony. Activities are set to begin at 9 a.m. Chief Counselor for the West Grand Bahama District Council, Kevin Morris, is encouraging residents to join in the celebration.
We're going to have prayers for the nation. We're going to be featured. We're going to be featured with a live band throughout the day. So we're making an appeal for the residents of West Grand Bahama to come out to enjoy and to celebrate our 40th year of independence.
COVID-19 protocols will be enforced.
We are in a COVID-19 environment, and again, we are going to adhere to the social distancing. So our tents, we will be under a tent. We will have the spacing, the social distancing, sanitizers, and we want to ensure that everyone that come out, we're going to be safe. And of course, we ensure that everyone come with their masks on.
It's Halia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Tonight, we continue our series highlighting Bahamian artists in honor of the country's 48th independence. In this report, we feature a woman whose musical journey began in her hometown of Bimini with her father's band, Ozzie Brown and the Calypsonians. And although she relocated to the United States at the age of 15 during her interview or stage performances, she proudly represents the 242. Ramiko Knowles has more.
Is the one and only Bimini gal, always repping the Bahamas and the entire Caribbean.
She was born into music, and it is a part of who she is. Tara Lynn's heart and passion for her craft has placed her on stages around the world. But no matter which part of the globe her gift takes her, she never forgets about the 242.
I don't leave home without a flag. That's what I'm buying. So, you know, it feels good. Like I said, you know, just the pride of, you know, even representing for my dad and carrying on that legacy as well. It makes me feel good. And, you know, being from the Bahamas, from Bimini, one of the smallest islands, 7 miles long, a half-mile wide, population of about 2,500 people, give or take. And, you know, sometimes I perform at these festivals like 5,000 people, and I never forget to tell them, it's more people here than where I grew up, you know? So it doesn't matter where you come from, you know, you set your mind to something, you follow your passion, and you could accomplish anything.
One of her greatest professional accomplishments was being on the song titled More Fire from international recording artist Little Wayne's The Carter 2 album in 2008. She says, for her, music is life.
When I'm doing music, I feel like I'm at the top of my game. Like nothing could affect me. You know what I mean? Like I got Teflon. I got everything that I need to just conquer the world. And the other part about that process too is the creative process. that is just so fulfilling for me.
This year's Independence theme is a celebration of life, revive us again. As a Bahamian artist, she explains what that means to her.
I feel like if we're talking about revive us again, let's go back. Let's take it really back to their culture. You know what I mean? Or even having people still come over, but giving them real good, genuine experiences, like showing them what real Bahamian things is. And I don't want to offend nobody, but a lot of times when people come, we're not even playing our own music, you know? Like, let's go back to that. Let's give people real Bahamian culture. And I feel like that is a way that we could revive us again.
And on that same token, as an artist, what are some of your aspirations, your goals, and your hopes for other Bahamian artists?
Oh my gosh, that we collaborate. That's the thing that I think is needed so badly. You know, sometimes we get so laser focused on our own goals and our own lane, and that's great. But as far as Bahamians, we need to come together because we will always be stronger together.
And as she continues to grow her fan base around the world, and even in our office. She says she will continue to do it with her Bahamian flag waving high.
I want to say happy independence to the country that raised me, to the country that made me, to my roots and my culture. I love you, Afro-Marine, gold and black.
Ramiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
That's it, and that's all. Good job, Ramiko. Stay with us. We'll be back right after this.
Come on down. Come on down. Now.
Across the Bahamas, we're more connected than ever before as we upgrade and expand our network, elevating your connection with BTC super-fast fiber internet. More people can access the best high-speed internet on our upgraded all-fiber optic network, providing you with a better experience working remotely, learning virtually, accessing more from home, and connecting with more opportunities. Visit our website or any store to upgrade to our super-fast fiber internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
Third Dimension on Yellow Pine Street introduces its new home improvement center. Step into our brand new fully stocked showroom for the latest in doors, tiles, housewares, kitchenwares, bathwares, vanities, power tools, electrical, and plumbing supplies. So stop by our showroom to view our full range of products or call the Home Advisor hotline at 602-0935 today. We are your home advisors.
The Bahamas Institute of Business and Technology transformed my life. It gave me the opportunities that I needed to succeed. I benefited from their affordability and was able to complete my associate's degree on time. Their day, evening, and weekend classes meant that I didn't have to leave home or quit my job to pursue my dreams. Generous scholarships and installment plans made it easy for me to cope financially. BIBT was the right choice for me. Why not make it your choice?
Apply today at BIBTBahamas.com.
Take your time, take your time. You sure, right? Yep.
Money short.
You sure? All right.
Money short.
Okay, okay. Miss.
You know Lou's a buying, right?
Oh, well, you must be getting kids' mealy. Man, I ain't bring no money like that. Plus, you know you greedy.
Well, today is your lucky day.
Oh.
Check out the ZNS Shopping Network. See what deals they have on food.
Look here. Boy, Madcap got some super deals. Check it out. You got a $25 coupon for 15 and a $20 coupon for 10.
Well, Madcap it is.
All right. Hey, I roll in with you, eh?
Log on to ZNSShoppingNetwork.com and get your deals today.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. A bittersweet occasion for a leading insurance company that has been in the industry since 1980. After serving the company for over 40 years, the manager that officially opened the Freeport branch is now moving into retirement. Our Megan Shepard sat down with James Carey on his last day in office.
In many ways, like a fresh beginning. It's not an end.
Former branch manager of insurance management, James Carey, officially closing the door on one chapter of his life as he is entering retirement after 42 years of service to the organization. Carey says he was assigned to move to Grand Bahama to open the first branch outside of New Providence in 1980, with only one other employee and himself.
We have grown to at high times in Freeport to excess of 30 employees. We're a bit less than that now, but these are the times we live in. One of the things we always prided ourselves on, which is perhaps the reason for the success we've had, has been customer service. We never boasted of being the cheapest guys in town because that was never the dictate of our founder. It was his dictate was always be the best, and that's what we tried to do. And deliver on the back end. It's one thing selling and collecting premiums, but on the back end, when the customer is in need, that's when the true test comes in.
Carey says he has made countless friends throughout his time at the company, and he expects those to last a lifetime. Carey shares how he has witnessed the industry change and grow throughout the years.
It has grown tremendously since then with the lifting of exclusivities, which seemed to have been the order of the day back then. But the island has grown, although not as much as we would have liked. From a consumer standpoint, the advent of competition has certainly been advantageous for the consumer in Grand Bahama, and it certainly made us in the industry hone our skills to be more competitive. But it has grown, and I see growth in the future once Grand Bahama emerges completely from the doldrums that seem to have plagued us in recent times. And I'm looking forward to seeing that develop.
Staff at the company say Carey will be greatly missed, as he was a very caring manager. After 4 decades of service, he says he knew it was time to transition and pass the baton to the younger generation of leaders.
After 41 years continuous service, and there are certainly capable young people around me, sometimes it's good to just step aside and let the opportunity flow wherever it flows, and that's been part of my consideration in making this decision.
Now, although Carey is retiring from insurance management, he says he will always be available to the company, and he still plans to keep busy in other areas. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Great story, Megan. Mr. Carey surely was a good friend to us here at ZNS North. He will surely be missed. Now it's time for your Tuesday Sports Check with our very own Ramiko Knowles.
This is ZNS Total Sports, your source for sports in the North. Good evening all, I'm Ramiko Knowles. Topping sports, it was a great weekend for Team Bahamas, tipping off in the FIBA Basketball World Cup, America's pre-qualifiers. Playing in Group 8, the 12-man roster represented the country well. Team Bahamas coming from an 18-point deficit in the fourth to win their opening game against Cuba 89-88. Franco Miller Jr. knocked down the floater with 7 seconds left to cap off the win. In their second game, Bahamas topped Costa Rica 75-51 to advance. And on Sunday night, Travis Munnings and Garvin Clark netted 18 points each to help Team Bahamas remain undefeated as they took down El Salvador 87-79. The Bahamas will advance to the qualifiers, which starts in November. Now, on a sad note, funeral service for the late coach John Terry Wild Goose is set for July 17th at Christ the King Anglican Church. Members of the sporting community gathering outside the Western Air Terminal to receive the body and pay their respects. It was an outpouring of love from those assembling outside the airport terminal as the body of the late coach John Terry Wild Goose arrived on Grand Bahama. The Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Iram Lewis, says Grand Bahama has suffered a great loss.
Terry was a family to us in many aspects. Youth, sports and culture. You know, in sports, he's an icon. With respect to culture, he was a part of our Junkanoo family, and of course he was very active in the Special Olympics. He's very supportive of me and what I did while he was alive.
Coach Donnie and Mary Knowles of the Grand Bahama Soccer Club recalling the times they shared with the sports icon.
He always loved soccer. He loved soccer. He played soccer from Nassau time. And he always used to say soccer was his first love. But basketball, I think he really excelled in.
Mary and Donna, y'all doing a great thing. Y'all keep it up. Be encouraged. You're doing a great job, and the kids are really going to benefit from what you're doing. So that's what I have the most respect for Terry for. He never got so big that he couldn't remember the small man.
Former basketball players and members of the Junkanoo community on hand to pay their respects. They say he will truly be missed.
I was in the 11th grade when Goose recruited me to play basketball. And that was an amazing time. Taught me a lot about the game, but also about being a man.
Goose as a man, he was a competitor. And one thing I admire him for, he always, even in day of life, he always would say the next man up.
He brought us up, brought us into the game and teach us how to be men, not only basketball.
This was like shocking to us, but you know, us as Junkanoo, we're going to send him out in style. You know, we're going to put on a good going away ceremony for him.
Coach Wild Goose passed away after a battle with pancreatic cancer. And that's a look at sports. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Until next time, make it a great one.
Sweeting Administrative Advisors, along with local business partners, is sponsoring entrepreneurs who are looking for office space to start a business or lower current expenses with no money down office rentals. Call 807-6033 now.
When you're operating at the highest standards, something remarkable happens. You don't just meet your goals, you exceed them. You don't just respond to needs, you anticipate them.
And you know that failure comes with consequences. You deserve the best we have to offer. And this is why we're working to ensure that we deliver on our commitments.
And we will take responsibility when we don't.
You have high expectations.
And we're committed to doing what it takes to exceed them.
Hey, wait! What you doing, baby? Don't jump! You all right? I'm like so stressed out. I could use a massage.
Oh, no. Don't look at me. I don't do them things. Why don't you check out the ZNS Shopping Network? They may be able to help you with something like that.
You think they have something for that?
Yeah, man, for sure.
For New Day Spa?
That's the place where the girls them is rub you down and fill you up.
I am buying this coupon for the hot stone massage. Renew Day Spa it is. I'm going.
Hey, look here. Wait for me. I rolling with you.
Log on to www.znsshoppingnetwork.com. Select the island of your choice and shop anywhere, anytime.
So put me together, break me apart again. No doubt about it.
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Maurice Roxbury, you are our Facebook friend of the day. We say thank you for your support. And that is going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of our entire ZNS News team, I'm Shashina Wolf-Farquharson. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
up in the Bahamas tonight, the national report, funds in hand for key healthcare upgrades. The Bahamas in talks for another round of vaccines. Consideration given for a new prison. And the Ministry of Tourism and Aviation in mourning. Those stories and more when the Bahamas tonight, the national report returns.
The natural resources of the Bahamas play a critical role in supporting Bahamian livelihoods. For example, the fishing and tourism industry, which include fishermen, seafood exporters, hoteliers, dive operators, restaurants, and others. Collectively, they generate approximately $1.5 billion a year. Therefore, we must respect and preserve what we have. These resources belong to us.
This is my livelihood.
This is my livelihood.
This is my livelihood.
So let's all do our part to maintain our local economy and a good quality of life. Remember, if we take care of nature, nature will take care of us.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lapinder, and welcome to the Bahamas tonight. Thanks for joining us. The government's making a multi-million-dollar investment in the public healthcare system. The Public Hospitals Authority this morning signed a $90 million contract with the Beck Group for the expansion and redevelopment of the Princess Margaret Hospital in New Providence and Grand Bahamas Rand Memorial Hospital. Minister of Health, the Honourable Renwood Wells, says the project will not only enhance the country's 2 public hospitals, but in doing so provide a number of job opportunities for Bahamians.
Beck Group will once again lend its expertise to planning, designing, and constructing a multi-story tower on the premises of the Princess Margaret Hospital. The multi-story tower will house maternal and child services and medical and surgical and clinical areas. In Grand Bahama, a new multi-story tower for inpatient care and auxiliary services at the Rand Memorial Hospital is also planned. I am pleased to note that once again, the Beck Group will utilize the top Bahamian talent available for the architectural and engineering components of these projects.
Chief Hospital Administrator at PMH, Mary Walker, says the investment marks a significant step in the provision of local health care, particularly in the case of women and children.
For many years, we've been battling with the constriction of space for maternal and child health services within the Public Hospitals Authority and indeed the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. So this is a milestone in the history of the Princess Margaret Hospital and indeed the country. It is very important for us to take care of the mothers of the nation as well as the children.
Still on health news this evening, more than 3 billion people worldwide have taken the first shot in the arm to protect themselves from the COVID-19 virus. Health experts citing that if you become infected after the vaccination, the evidence suggests you will only experience mild symptoms. During today's contract signing, Hospital Administrator Mary Walker shared the facts.
Our clinical teams are actually indicating that the vast majority of the persons that we are seeing currently at Princess Margaret Hospital and South Beach Health Center, they are not vaccinated. These are the persons that are in hospital right now currently receiving care. There are a minority, I would say about 2%, that would have had just one immunization. But the vast majority of the persons that we are dealing with in the Princess Margaret Hospital and the South Beach Health Center have not had any vaccination. Over the last 5 to 7 days, we are at capacity at Princess Margaret Hospital, and the more severe persons are actually being taken care of for ventilated purposes at Doctors Hospital West, and South Beach as well had 2 ventilated patients over the last 72 hours. So indeed, it is very critical that we ensure that persons can protect themselves. Vaccinate.
The government is, meantime, in talks with other Caribbean countries to secure another 20,000 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine as the fight against this deadly virus continues. Here's Health Minister, the Honourable Renwood Wells, with how those talks are going.
There is a discussion for the 20,000 from St. Vincent, and then once we would have received our tranche, we would return those doses to the various Caribbean countries from which we would have gotten some. So where there is a nation with increased uptake of vaccine and a country where there is available vaccines that are not being readily used, there's discussions as to how you can move it across borders according to WHO rules, which in the case of, I think it was Antigua and Barbuda, as the Prime Minister spoke to, we got 5,000 doses from Antigua and Barbuda, of which when we receive our tranche, our doses from COVAX, we will give back to Antigua and Barbuda.
Meantime, public school students will not be mandated to have the COVID-19 vaccine when school reopens in the fall. That, according to Minister of Education, the Honorable Jeffrey Lloyd, who says the government will act within the parameters of advice from health professionals. When asked if the vaccinations will be mandatory in private schools, the minister responded with this.
They will have to be like everyone else, guided by the health authorities and what is the law. If there is an arrangement between them and their client base, meaning parents and students, that kind of imposition can be made, then that is a determination between them and that client base. As far as we are concerned, the government has reiterated that there is nothing mandatory about vaccination in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. What private circumstances determine to do or decide to do, it's entirely up to them. And I'm sure, as you would have heard, some of those decisions may be tested in court.
Now, when it comes to teachers in the public school system, Lloyd says there will also not be a vaccination requirement.
Government has stipulated that there is no mandatory vaccination. So that's the established circumstance that we now abide by. And again, any and everything we do, it's what the health officials say we must do. And we follow that, religiously.
When we return, talk of a new prison and illegal immigrants sent home. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight. And remember to tune in to the morning edition with LaDawn Davis and Charles Fisher at 7 o'clock weekday mornings. We also have news updates at every hour starting at 2 p.m. You can then watch The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern edition, at 6:30 and the National Report live at 7 p.m. All right here on the ZNS Network.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Welcome to a world where hope is still loud, where dreams are still relevant, and determination has no substitute. Welcome to a nation where the people are still warm, resilient, and innovative. And Commonwealth Bank is at the center of it all, giving innovation and progress an extra push for more than 60 years. We're here for Bahamians because we are Bahamian. Commonwealth Bank, your leader in personal banking services.
Elevate your experience with BTC Superfast Fiber Home Internet, which unlocks unlimited mobile talk, data, and roaming for as low as $50 per line. Enjoy more savings and value with internet speeds of up to 600 megabits per second and all the connectivity you need on the go. An elevated experience starts with BTC at home, powering unlimited mobile talk, data, and roaming plus great savings. Visit a BTC store or btcbahamas.com for more details.
You know that feeling you get when you have an uncontrollable desire for fried chicken? That's the KFC. A substance that stimulates your senses to identify the aroma of our secret recipe or an extra crispy crunch from any distance. It's invisible to the naked eye, but you can feel it traveling throughout your body, taking control so you can enjoy a juicy bite of KFC. Ignite your senses with KFC.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's.
McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Officials looking to alleviate overcrowding at the Bahamas Department of Corrections. And to facilitate that, they're in the early stage of discussions about a new prison. Cleopatra Murphy has the story.
Formed to look into the possibility of establishing a new prison, examining everything from where the facility will be located to what it will ultimately cost. Minister of National Security, the Honorable Marvin Dames, says he met with the committee just last week. The conversation comes as officials look to reimagine the local prison system and its goals.
We're looking at the possibility of presenting to Cabinet at some point a public-private partnership arrangement that will see the construction of a new modern facility that would, I will be able to accommodate somewhere between 300 and 500 inmates, because the objective here is that we cannot talk about rehabilitation. We cannot talk about rehabilitation and parole, modernization, without first looking at the welfare of officers and inmates alike. You can't tell a guy, we want to rehabilitate you, and then at the end of the day, you put him in a cell with about 5 or 6 others. It's about, and look how small those cells are, and the environment is not conducive for it.
Dames says there are just over 1,200 inmates at the Bahamas Department of Corrections, and that number has been reduced from nearly 1,700 when the current administration took office. He says officials are doing what they can to ensure only inmates that should be there are incarcerated, also highlighting the efforts of the Prerogative of Mercy Committee.
We had a meeting last week. We're now reviewing in excess of 200 submissions, and I think that there's a follow-up meeting this coming Thursday. And the Rehabilitation Committee continues to meet, and we continue to expunge records of those persons who are deserving.
As for the current prison, Dames says upgrades continue there. Some of those have been to maximum security, where air condition has been added and floors have been refurbished. When it comes to a new prison facility, Dames says no price tag is attached just yet, but officials are considering a medium security facility.
And the committee is examining what is it that we need, right? Why do we need it, right? What would be its purpose, right? In this new era where we're moving from more penal to more rehabilitation, and so we're taking a very methodical approach, and so we're very early. But the view is that we certainly would like to move in that direction, and when we're at the stage that we think that we can move forward and make a presentation for Cabinet to consider, we're there, but we're not there yet.
Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
A man serving a 35-year prison term for attempted murder will have to face a jury of his peers for a second time after the Court of Appeal overturned his conviction and sentences and ordered a retrial. A jury convicted Mackey back in 2019 for the attempted murder of 3 men over in Freeport, Grand Bahama. During his appeal, Mackey complained, among other things, that the judge misdirected the jury on the issue of self-defense. And after hearing from both sides, the court agreed. They then quashed his conviction and sentences and ordered that the matter be sent back to the Supreme Court for a retrial. Some 65 Haitian nationals repatriated early this morning on board the Bahamas Air flight, 47 men, 16 women, and 2 minors. The escort was conducted by a joint team of Immigration and Defense Force officers. There is the assurance that all health safety protocols were strictly enforced. The repatriation exercise prompting officials to remind the public that it is a criminal offense and punishable by law to harbor illegal migrants here in the Bahamas. Hurricane season, an uneasy time for many Bahamians, and for obvious reasons. If there is good news, though, it's that there's a tax holiday on much-needed supplies. Lloyd Allen has more in this week's Market Insider.
Some good news on the way for homeowners and business operators. As the hurricane season continues, the Inland Revenue Department has introduced a tax holiday for a number of supplies to protect your investment.
The 9th of July until the 31st of July, all the items on the hurricane list will be sold at a rate of 0.
As Shonda Strawn, Acting Chief Valuation Officer and Controller at the Department of Inland Revenue, explains, that list includes 30 hurricane essentials that can be purchased with 0 VAT rate.
Flashlights and water cans and battery-operated fans, those types of things will be 0 rated.
The DIR recently met with several local merchants to explain the tax holiday, and according to Strawn, the feedback has been positive.
Everybody is excited because it will provide a savings for the general public, and it will also allow persons to be prepared.
Social media also proving a vital tool in getting the word out about the newest initiative.
So there's been all the posters and flyers out in the social media, but also every VAT registrant would have received the protocols and the list from our e-blast. It's something that we do through our system.
Now, the same rule applies in the case of Family Island residents. Once the transaction occurs by July 31st, merchants are required by law to allow the value-added tax discount.
You have to receive the goods or be in possession of the goods by the 31st of July. So you have between the 9th and the 31st to make all the payments, because the merchant has to deliver the goods to you by the end, which is the 31st.
A complete listing of the 30 items can be found on the department's page. That's www.inlandrevenue.finance.gov.bs. For this week's Market Insider, Lloyd Allen, ZNS Network News.
Well, meantime, 1 month into the hurricane season, and the big question is, how prepared are you? In this next report from Carla Palmer, she tells us that all the supplies that you may be in need of are readily available.
Officials at the Met Office say by now all hurricane preparations should be completed. Since the annual hurricane season started on June 1st, there have been 5 storms. Although the Bahamas, luckily so far, has escaped them all, residents are being advised to make ready for any eventuality. Local business representatives say they are fully stocked and ready to service customers.
We have your tarps them in, we have your bar bolt, we have your 5-way plywood that you need, we have your standby, and we have your on generator. We have your roofing cement. Talk about our 5-way plywood up to capacity. We got your 1x. You got your 1x4, you got your 1x6. Every day we have containers coming in, supply and demand. So we try our best to stay fully stocked.
Shanika Ramsey is a floor sales representative at FYP Builders Mall. She too is encouraging residents to plan early to avoid the rush and over expenditure.
Just check over your stuff. And you could even, with our knowledgeable staff in here, we will guide you along that way to tell you if you need this so much amount. It's all about communication.
Over at Cartwright's Building Supplies, Chief Executive Officer there, Cecil Cartwright, says the company has been ordering hurricane supplies for almost a month in advance of the season.
Well stocked with plywood. That is well in place. And there's some of the general things with the many roofing products, with normally items that hurricane people normally got. Closing up the windows, plywood. Batten up the doors, plywood. And then the after effect of plywood with shingles and so forth, I'm well stocked with shingles.
Cartwright acknowledges that the cost of building supplies have increased substantially since the COVID pandemic.
The reason for the increase in the building supplies is because the COVID worldwide and the mills were shut down. And they say that the mills won't be actually opening until July this month. I'm still on the market searching for better prices that I can pass on to the general public. And I'm looking at the China market. I don't know how the prices there look good, but I don't know, I'm looking at shipping so far. But in the U.S. market, I don't see no changes in the U.S. market because of the demand.
With 4 more months to go before the hurricane season ends on November 30th, residents are being encouraged not only to plan in advance, but execute. Carla Palmer, ZNS Network News.
Well, the Caribbean knows all too well the effects of climate change and its threat to economies and human well-being. In hopes of combating this, the Ministry of Public Works and the Bahamas National Trust have teamed up to implement parts of the Inter-American Development Bank-funded Climate Resilient Coastal Management Infrastructure Program, also known as the Integrated Coastal Zone Management, or ICZM project. The initiative aims to use traditional and nature-based solutions to build coastal resilience at several sites throughout the Bahamas, beginning with Andros and East Grand Bahama. The ICZM is the first step to improving coastal resilience management and infrastructure across the country on a wide scale. The BNT is expected to engage community members within the project site areas. The Ministry of Tourism and Aviation's mourning the loss of its Director General of the Aviation Authority. Michael Allen died on Friday, July 2nd. Allen has been credited with helping with the development and passage of the new Civil Aviation Act and the Civil Aviation Authority, and assisting in the negotiation of the new charging scheme for aircraft using and traversing the country's airspace. Prior to this, Allen served as a partner in law firm Higgs & Johnson and chairman of the Bahamas Financial Services Board. The ministry is this evening extending deepest and sincerest sympathies to his family, as well as all those who loved and admired him.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A friend that you can trust. Family Guardian.
When you wanna save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you wanna look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
Elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate.
Our team members play a vital role in our success here at BTC. And let's face it, the last year has not been easy for any of us. So ensuring that while we're socially distanced, we're not socially disengaged has been crucial.
It is fantastic for me to be able to transition into this opportunity to, go into the role of director of people. I've done a lot of work with BTC over the years, having served as a consultant psychologist for the company, and I've worked with so many of the different departments and so many different individuals on a number of issues and also a number of team building opportunities, and now I get to do this on a grander scale. One of my key focuses in this role is transformation and making certain that we look at transformation from the senior leadership team and looking at transformation from our line staff, but also the transformation opportunities for our middle management. And so we're about to engage in a managerial training program that we're going to brand, and it's extremely exciting. We've already kind of put that program together. It's about 7 modules that we're going to take our managers through to make certain that the people aspect of what they do is really critical, and they understand how critical that is to their respective roles. Before there's work, there's people that do that work. And so we have to keep people top of mind in everything that we do.
It takes a strong team to be number one, and our team members have helped make sure that we hold on to that position. These are still the moments that move us. I'm Corbell Pyfrom. Be well, and be back here next BTC Connection.
Elevate, we elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate.
Today is a day for fun. Today is a day for family.
So why should yesterday's worries affect my today? That's why I insure my family with J.S. Johnson, because their mission is to provide us with the best insurance coverage possible. With J.S. Johnson, I know my family comes first, so I take comfort in knowing that they always have us covered, providing us with a great today and an even better tomorrow.
J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, giving you peace of mind.
Do you know that adherence is more than taking medications? It calls to you to stick to the medical regimen as prescribed by your healthcare provider. Please keep your lab appointments, as these determine the effects medications are having on your body. Follow-up doctor's appointments are necessary, as this is the time when the doctor performs a physical examination and discusses any test results and any concerns or issues you may have with your course of treatment. Sticking to prescribed diet and exercise regimens can improve medication effectiveness and contributes to overall health and well-being. Make a commitment today to be adherent to your medication regimen and practice healthy living.
This message has been brought to you by the Bahamas AIDS Foundation with funding provided by PEPFAR, USAID Local Capacity Initiative Small Grant.
Summer translates into beaching, at least here in the Bahamas, but lately there's a major concern. Carla Palmer explains.
Brian Roll has been on the job as a supervisor with the Beach and Parks Division for the past 12 years, assigned to keeping Saunders Beach and its surrounding facilities clean of debris. Proud of what he and his team have been able to accomplish, he maintains it's all in a day's work.
We always are under the impression that government people can't do the same work as private people, but I wanted to change the mindset. I wanted the landscape of Saunders Beach to look exactly like what they see when they pass Bahama.
Visitors to Saunders Beach, like Dr. Susan Williams-Lockhart, are certainly taking notice of the effort made to keeping the beach clean.
I like Saunders Beach because you have different sort of elevations. You know, you have the part down there is a little bit more rocky. You have this part up here which is a little bit more sandy. You have the part where you have the moss, so you can see fish and different types of wild marine life.
Still, Roll finds aspects of the job challenging, an area he has little control over and needs the public's help.
The Bahamas is a tourism destination. We have people that just don't have a don't care attitude when it comes to litter. I like to pass you on the weekend to see what we'll be up against on Monday. And it was picnics, everything was going on. Some people had bags, some people didn't have bags, and right wherever they was doing their grilling and stuff, you meet all the dirt right there. People have to remember, when we want to come to the beach, we want the beach to be clean and sanitized. We're in the time of COVID and all those things you have to be mindful of. So if you decide on Sunday that we're coming out to have a family picnic, just so you can take your monies and buy your drinks and your food stuff and come out and prepare, stop and buy 5 garbage bags at least. Once you have the stuff in the garbage bags and it's tied properly, we'll move them. We don't have a problem with moving them. But if you just throw stuff all over the place, it makes the place look like an eyesore. And then that'll be someplace where you might even want to go, because you could imagine coming back on the following weekend and meeting that same debris which you left on the ground the last week. Flies and maggots all over the place. It isn't a sanitary condition for nobody to be in.
Cognizant that the 6 trash bins on site are not enough to service the area, Roll says in the coming days, more will be added. Nevertheless, he's calling on beachgoers to take more responsibility for bagging their garbage.
The amount of used condoms we find out here in the mornings on a daily basis is deplorable. And right near the children area, used tampons. We just meet those things discarded all about anywhere around the playground area. I mean, Bahamians have to be conscious of these things. I mean, you just have to have some kind of pride. Who does that kind of stuff? And then the next week, you're looking for the beach to be in pristine condition, but sometimes we have to actually walk the playground area first before we do any cleaning, just to make sure we don't have no mishaps with children running into that kind of stuff.
As the country prepares to celebrate its 40th anniversary of independence, Roll is encouraging residents, specifically visitors to our beaches, to show more pride.
It's just need to take pride in the country. You know, it always used to shock me the amount of busloads of tourists that come here, and the minute they hop on those vehicles, the first thing they do is they start taking pictures. So we have litter spread all over the place and stuff like that. That's the kind of pictures they sending back home to their folks. And that ain't really the impression you want them to have about the Bahamas.
Roll is hoping beachgoers respond positively to his concerns. Carla Palmer, ZNS Network News.
Well, as the 48th independence nears, we chat with some who say becoming an independent nation remains the push to discovering the Bahamian dream. Here's Lloyd Allen.
On July 10th, annually, Bahamians from near and far converge right here at Fort Charlotte, located at Clifford Park, for the annual Independence celebration. Now, this has happened for the past 48 years. But prior to 1973, there were many hopes, dreams, and desires that may have never materialized had it not been for the birth of our nation.
I distinctly remember fear.
61-year-old Zelrona Mackey says as a teen back in the 70s, she recalls many emotions from a long-standing colonial nation transitioning to independence.
We were so afraid at one point because Abaco wanted to not be a part of our independence.
That never materialized. And of course, Abaco, along with the 29 other inhabited islands of the Bahamas, moved toward becoming independent.
The communities and everything were so excited, but like I said, a lot of us were in fear.
Similar sentiments were shared by 76-year-old retired National Security Permanent Secretary Mark Wilson.
Many people were convinced that independence was the way to go and were positive about it.
Of course, the day finally came when the Union Jack was lowered for the last time as the official flag of the country, and a new Bahamian flag was raised.
The night of independence, I want you to know the country was abuzz.
ZNS was new at the time and was able to broadcast the ceremony.
My father took at least 4 truckloads of persons, at least 4 to 5 truckloads of people from through this corner and this community alone to Clifford Park.
Both say they are proud to see the strides the country has made, and they had this message for their younger selves and youngsters of the day.
Take advantage of the opportunities that education has to offer.
The idea of being in charge of one's destiny did not faze us at all. If the question is being asked, were you ready? The answer is yes, we were ready.
Lloyd Allen, ZNS Network News.
Well, this year's celebrations may be low-key, but nothing's stopping a growing number of Bahamians from putting their patriotism on display this year, as Charles Fisher tells us in this next report.
Yes, July is our Independence Month, but that should not be the only time we show our Bahamian pride.
We don't just do it for July like some other people. We are here 365, 366 if you let us. You should show your Bahamian pride every day of the year. I try to wear at least one national color, if not 2 every day. Represent yourself every day. Why wait till you travel? Why wait to get upset with another person from foreign descent wearing their colors when you have the right to show your colors every day too?
So by the name you may think that they only sell flags, but beyond flags are some unique items you just can't find anywhere else.
We have the flag lapel pins. We have flutter balls. They look like the round balls, but they are definitely much more festive because they look like a floral ball. So that's different. We have the car hood covers. They really show your national pride in a big way. And of course, we have the car flags. We have the island shirts. Ours have the map, the flag, and the coat of arms on the one shirt, printed back and front. And of course, we have regular T-shirts. We have children's shirts. We have racer backs, and we have the spaghetti strap.
Flags, and all kind of flags.
From as small as a desk-size flag, 4 inches by 6 inches, all the way up to a 15 by 18 flag. We have all the sizes in between. And they are the right colors. They are government code. They are specifically made. We ensure that before it's mass produced, it is the right colors.
And when they say beyond, she means beyond.
Some items that we try to encourage our local entrepreneurs, a flower pin that's actually produced by a young lady. We try to encourage and tell them, listen, come, you can bring your stuff, put it here on consignment, not a problem, because the more we can expose your products to the public, the better it is for all of us. We all benefit.
For the ZNS Network News, I'm Charles Fisher.
Well, we now take a look at how one's love for animals leads to big bucks for one student. LaDawn Davis reports.
At the start of the pandemic, I was really bored, and I really love animals, and when I saw that my uncle was doing it, I figured that it was going to be a great business for me to do.
Feeding 29 chickens and harvesting their organic eggs became a small business for Dior Ray Scott. The honor roll student at St. Augustine's College spends most of her mornings ensuring her chickens get the food they need to stay healthy to produce eggs every 24 hours.
In the morning when I wake up, I get the chicken feed them, give them water, and throughout the day, I sometimes give them snacks like lettuce and cerasee and stuff and fruits. I have just regular hens.
Have you had roosters before?
No, Mom, because they were going to be really loud and they were going to cause the eggs to hatch. And I don't really want that because I want to sell the eggs.
Dior Ray rakes in about 15 to 20 dozens of eggs weekly. After wiping them down with a liquid, the eggs are placed in a clear carton and hand-delivered to her valuable customers.
They're about medium size, and like some of them are big because when I first started, they were really small and then they started to get bigger. When I gave them like sand and quarry, that helped the calcium, and just I guess when they got bigger, they made bigger eggs.
Parents Danny and Hiltina Scott say they are extremely proud their daughter has taken her entrepreneurial skills to another level.
When she came up with the idea over the course of the pandemic, she said, you know, I really want to get into doing something, man, mommy. I really want to try and make some money, and what you think I could do? I said, well, think of some ideas. And she came up with this, raising chickens to sell our eggs. And so it's something that we're really proud of. It's really important to support our kids. And when they came up with the idea, we kind of had to go and run full force with it.
I'm the building man. My wife does the egg selling and the egg transporting for our daughter. I'm the one who keeps the cage clean. I'm the one who had to do the laborious part of it. But I'm proud, I'm happy to do it. Each one of us has a role to do, and that is my part of it. We are very proud.
LaDawn Davis, ZNS Network News.
And as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals, and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
ZNS Shopping Network is the place for deals. Check out the deals Mama Sassy's Gourmet Foods has just for you. Log on to www.znsshoppingnetwork.com, select the island of your choice, and shop anywhere, anytime.
When you really need to save big, you need to shop Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Rainbow Spaghetti and Meatballs, 14.8-ounce can, 3 for $3.19. Promo's Peanut Butter, 18-ounce jar, $2.89. Amalanda Fresh Milk, 33.8-ounce size, $1.39. Green Peppers, $1.49 per pound. Chicken Leg Quarters, 10-pound bag, $1.09 per pound. Working hard every day to keep your prices down. That's Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Elevate your experience with BTC Superfast Fiber Home Internet, which unlocks unlimited mobile talk, data, and roaming for as low as $50 per line. Enjoy more savings and value with internet speeds of up to 600 megabits per second and all the connectivity you need on the go. An elevated experience starts with BTC at home, powering unlimited mobile talk, data, and roaming plus great savings. Visit a BTC store or btcbahamas.com for more details.
Investigations continue into that fatal fiery crash yesterday where 2 Bahamian pilots lost their lives. Their remains were removed from the crash site today and will be transported to the capital for an autopsy. Crash investigators say eyewitness accounts suggest that the aircraft appeared to not be making enough power as it struggled to get off the ground. The aircraft used the entire runway and ended in bushes approximately 2,000 feet beyond the end of the usable runway after hitting several trees along the debris path. They also say weather at the time of takeoff was not bad. However, shortly after the crash, it became intense, which, along with the fire, hampered rescue attempts. At the time of arrival of the investigation team this morning, the fire in some areas was still smoldering. The aircraft was substantially damaged due to the impact and fire. Investigations are ongoing. Crystal Cruises sailed the sapphire blue waters of Exuma today, making its first stop to the island. On hand was a welcoming team to greet the guests and crew. Among those on shore were local government officials, the tourism team, and vendors who ensured that the visitors had a fantastic time. The captain was given a token of appreciation and told that the people of Exuma look forward to a long and fruitful relationship. In response, the captain of Crystal Serenity said the welcome was spectacular and they are looking forward to many more calls to come. Crystal Cruises luxury Bahamas escapes are expected to bring a minimum of over 16,500 cruise passengers to the islands of the Bahamas this summer, and it's expected to infuse millions upon millions of dollars into the economy. Remora Bay Resort and Marina execs certainly have a lot to smile about. A staple on the Harbour Island scene for more than half a century, Remora Bay is said to have enjoyed its best 4th of July in history. The property's managing partner, Joe Darkovage, says while numbers had been trending up gradually since the Bahamas instituted the travel health visa in November, the explosion of activity over the American Independence holiday weekend was the highest in nearly 16 months. Every slip and both its restaurants were full. Remora used the downtime during the height of the pandemic last year to renovate rooms, enhance landscaping, and make repairs or upgrades to its marina. Darkovich admits, though, that while things are looking up, they still have a long way to go before full recovery. And talk about small ways of honoring big things. The Sandals Resorts family certainly keeping the memory of its founder and chairman, Gordon Butch Stewart, alive. The resort has come up with a series of on-property and digital happenings timed to honor Stewart on what would have been his 80th birthday today. Each resort then will be presented with a specially framed photo of the founder to be displayed in a prominent position for viewing. Further, each will introduce an ocean lookout, a spot special to Stewart for its stunning views of the sea. Every ocean lookout will be accompanied by a plaque with the following inscription: "My idea of luxury is being by the sea," as once said by the hotelier himself. Sandals Executive Chairman Adam Stewart says the display shows the world that behind the hotel's brands, they are a 6th-generation Jamaican family with roots firmly planted in the Caribbean. Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather, and for that, we turn now to Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makisha. At 5 o'clock this afternoon, the center of Elsa was located about 155 miles to the south-southwest of Tampa, Florida. It's now moving towards the north at about 10 miles per hour. Maximum sustained wind have increased to near hurricane intensity at 70 miles per hour. Outside of our studios, cloudy skies, temperature 86 degrees, relative humidity 69%, southeast winds at 14 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,018.4 millibars. That's 30.07 inches, and the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 84 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Grand Torquay, and Marshall, Barbacoa. 85 in the Berry Islands. Alistown, Bimini, some cloud cover there, and 81 degrees. 85 in Harbour Island. Roxanne, Eleuthera, 84. Black Point, Exuma 85. 85 is also in Kemps Bay, South Andros, and Fresh Creek in Central Andros. Artistown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rumkey at 85. 84 in Georgetown, Exuma. 84 also in Ragged Island, Clarencetown, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, Acklands, and Matitown, Niagara. Also the Turks and Caicos Island, we throw them in there as well at 84 degrees. And that's going to do it for your temperatures around the Family Violence. Now, time for your boating forecast, and they are brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Setter. In the northwest Bahamas tonight, right through Thursday, the wind's going to be southeast at 12 to 18 knots, with caution flags up, wave heights 3 to 6 feet. Low tide takes place at 1:01 in the morning, with a high tide taking place at 6:42 tomorrow morning. In the central and southeastern islands, these conditions will continue right through Thursday as well. Southeast winds at 15 to 25 knots, rough sea conditions at 5 to 8 feet over the ocean, so we have an advisory in place for boaters, both in the central and southeastern islands through Thursday. And that's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
You know how long I've been looking for you, guys? Mom, from the other night. We had a good night, then you disappeared on me. Where you going? But hey, y'all, where you been, y'all? I've been looking for you, looking for you. But hey, y'all, where you been, y'all? I've been looking for you. I've been chilling out by the bar last night. This y'all, she was looking nice, she blew my mind. Right on the side, I start to order drinks and I drink everything. She make me feel like a
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
There's a pandemic going around. We have to work hard to stay around. Keep yourself and your family safe. And thank God for amazing grace. There's a solution you must choose. It will help me and help you too. It's available everywhere. Don't take too long, I'll meet you there. I got mine, you get yours. Get vaccinated. I got mine, you get yours. Get vaccinated. It's protecting me, protecting you. It's protecting the country too. I got mine, you get yours. Get vaccinated. I got mine, you get yours. Get vaccinated. I got mine, you get yours. Get vaccinated. It's protecting me, protecting you. It's protecting the country too. I got mine, you get yours. Get vaccinated.
Make your appointment today at vax.gov.bs. That's vax.gov.bs. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health in conjunction with Bahamas Information Services.
1973 marked the beginning of something great in these beloved islands, an event that would reflect the values and tastes of the Bahamian people for generations to come. National pride has gone hand in hand with this momentous occasion, which will forever be known throughout Bahamian history as the birth of Aquapure. Sharing its birthday with the nation isn't what makes Aquapure great. It's Aquapure's commitment to quality and to the people of the Bahamas that drives us to be the best. Aquapure, pure Bahamian since 1973.
ZNS Shopping Network is the place for deals. Check out the deals Mama Sassy's Gourmet Foods has just for you. Log on to www.znsshoppingnetwork.com, select the island of your choice, and shop anywhere, anytime.
It is the night of July 9th, 1973. Leaders, heads of state, representatives of over 80 nations of the world have come tonight to Nassau's Clifford Park.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to
sports. Well, B3A is holding a press conference yesterday to name its 40-member team that will represent the country this weekend in San Jose, Costa Rica at the 2021 North American, Central American, and Caribbean Athletic Association Track Championship set for July 9th through the 11th at the National Stadium in Costa Rica. Kim Hanna is the team manager, and she'll be assisted by Nikita Thompson. John Ingram is the head coach. He will be assisted by Carrington Maycock, Alcine Alce, Van Dyke Pratt, and Aquino Demerit. Dr. Lovato Knowles and Jonathan Higgs will travel as the two physiotherapists. Also, COVID-19 compliance officer will travel with the team to ensure that COVID-19 protocols and guidelines of the host nation are being followed. B3A's president, Trimiko Archer.
Congratulate the coaching staff. Every club has produced some of the best performances that I can see in our recent history of track and field at the junior level. And so they've managed a sustainable season where there's been upward progression all the way up to the nationals. And we are excited about the prospects going into Costa Rica. I believe that this will be probably the best performances that we will see.
From an athlete perspective, sprinter Sasha Wells also likes the team's chances this year.
Excited. I think we have a really good team. It should be good competition. The weather will hopefully be nice. I believe that the USA, Canada, and Mexico aren't coming, so that should give us even a greater chance of coming back with more medals and more trophies and stuff.
Well, after dramatic postseason, it is now down to 2, as tonight will mark Game 1 of the 2021 NBA Finals, as Bahamian DeAndre Ayton and the Phoenix Suns are set to take on two-time league MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks. They are two of the longest-suffering franchises and fan bases in U.S. sports, but for one of them, the drought will end this year. The Phoenix Suns have never won an NBA title, and the Milwaukee Bucks have won just one way back in 1971. Whereas in previous years, a cast of established superstar names have appeared in the finals to do battle, this year has a sense of freshness about it. No player on either roster has won an NBA ring before, and Jay Crowder of the Suns is the only player to have previously participated in the final. Again, the best-of-7 series begins tonight. Ayton has been a driving force for the Suns this magical postseason, averaging 16 points and 11 rebounds. In cycling news, Lawrence Sawyer would win his first Bahamas Cycling Federation double crown, taking the 47th National Cycling Championships male time trials and road race titles. Sawyer completed the sweep of the two crowns over the weekend at the Clifton Heritage Park, where he was joined by repeat female time champion Marla Albury and Anthony's Lily Simmons, who returned to capture the female title. Byron Musgrove Jr., the son of New Providence Cycling Association President Byron Turbo Musgrove Sr., captured the junior boys title. And that's been a look at sports. A quick check on weather when we return.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
It's Shay here, and welcome to our first installment of Alive's Community Corner. Not only is Alive a digital service provider, and beyond those great deals and services that we provide you, Alive is committed to the community. So here's a look at what we did for Mother's and Father's Day. This episode, and we look forward to sharing with you so many more of our community moments. So why Alive? Because you deserve it.
During this pandemic, it is our duty to ensure that all citizens, residents, and visitors are adhering to the COVID-19 safety protocols. Every business establishment must have distance markers 6 feet apart, indicating where each customer must stand at check-in points. Have a hand sanitizing station visible at the entrance of the store for all customers to sanitize their hands before entering the store. I am Ambassador Latario Farrington of the COVID-19 Enforcement Unit. Save a life that may be yours.
This message brought to you by the Ministry of National Security in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Colon cancer is the third most common cancer affecting Bahamians. Your risk of developing colon cancer is increased if you have a personal history of colorectal cancer or colon polyps, a family history of colon cancer, or inflammatory bowel diseases such as ulcerative colitis. Other factors that can increase your risk of developing colon cancer are low fiber, high fat diets, a sedentary lifestyle, obesity, smoking, and alcohol. You can take steps to reduce your risk of colon cancer by making specific lifestyle changes. Eat a variety of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. These foods contain fiber, minerals, vitamins, and antioxidants, which may play a role in cancer prevention. Drink alcohol in moderation or not at all. Do not smoke. Exercise with a goal of getting in at least 30 minutes each day. If you've been inactive, start slowly and gradually build up to 30 minutes. Also, talk to your doctor before starting any exercise program. Maintain a healthy weight. If you're at a healthy weight, maintain it by combining a well-balanced diet with daily exercise. If you need to lose weight, ask your doctor about healthy ways to achieve your goal. Colon cancer screening can also help to prevent colon cancer or lead to its early detection when treatment is most effective. If you're 45 years or older, speak to your doctor about having a colonoscopy or some form of colon cancer screening that may be appropriate for you. I'm Dr. Eugene Marcus Cooper. Pay attention to your health. Get the facts and discuss colon cancer with your physician today.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health in partnership with the Public Hospitals Authority.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, Elsa at 5 o'clock this afternoon was 155 miles to the south-southwest of Tampa, Florida, moving towards the north at some 10 miles per hour. Maximum sustained winds are nearing hurricane intensity at 70 miles per hour, and we expect that direction to shift more towards the north and east by tomorrow, and that northeasterly component will continue over the next several days. That's keeping it along the east coast of the United States. Tonight, we're going in for patchy clouds, a shower or two in place later on tonight. Low temperature getting down to 79 degrees. And tomorrow, it's going to be a bit on the breezy side with a couple of showers in place as well. 89 degrees for your high temperature tomorrow. Extended weather forecast, we're going to get you back up into the 90s as of tomorrow, and that will hold for the greater part of next week, with those nighttime temperatures holding in the low 80s, and the sun seems to be coming out and will be with us for several days. Makisha.
Sounds good, Basil. That does it for the Bahamas tonight. We thank you for continuing to make ZNS your #1 news and information network. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. On behalf of the entire team here, thanks for watching and good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Can you sing to my husband? Hey, can you